Good morning, everyone. My name is Sagar. I'm the head of venture development at BlockRocket. We are a leading blockchain-based startup, accelerator, and investor. Before I will explain about what we are doing at BlockRocket. We have today, as usual, 4 startups and 4 prominent jury members for the Q&A session. So before we jump into the event, I would like to take opportunity to discuss more about us, who we are, and what we are doing. So as I said, we are the leading accelerator program for early stage blockchain startups in Germany. So we are only focusing in German ecosystem, but startup outside of the Germany can also apply for our startup program and investment. So there are various aspects what we are doing under the umbrella of BlockRocket blockchain startup acceleration program. So we focus on German ecosystem. So that means German market is really relevant for us. Then we focus on blockchain. So we invest only blockchain based startups. So what we do at BlockRocket, we do seed investment up to 150,000 euro. So we invest into early stage and idea stage startups very early, up to 150,000 euro ticket size, valuation between 1 to 5 million euro. We do advisory and mentorship. So we advise and support our startups, and we do a mentoring session for our startup founders. Apart from that, we also do matchmaking and marketing. That means we help startups to get in touch with relevant stakeholders in our network and provide exposure via events, workshop, and panels. So every month we organize panel events as well as monthly pitch event, and we also do monthly podcast with prominent personality as well as from our partners. So in nutshell, what we are doing. So we are always in search of young startup. We are always looking for early stage startups and young founders where we can invest. So they're in upcoming 5 years, there is going to be so many blockchain startups going to come out, and we are in search of very early stage startup where we can invest into them and we can help them accelerate their program. So in nutshell, what we have accomplished so far. So far in our deal flow, we have received 250 plus startup application. Out of 250 plus startup application, so far we had shortlisted 50 plus startups in our program. And apart from that, we have already 7 startup in our program, and out of 7, we have already invested into 5 early stage startups. Approximately we invested 750,000 euro, and this year we can fill the ticket to 5 to 10 more startups by end of this year. Apart from that, we have 250 plus partnership. We have 30 plus VCs in our network. So our idea stage and early stage startup, when there is Series A round, so they can get in touch with this all VC from our network. As I said earlier, we also organize events. So we have so far organized 25 plus events in last year, and our average ticket size is 150,000 euro. So this is BlockRocket's network. So we have as I said earlier, we have 250 plus partners in our network, and they are from different sectors investor VCs. They are they're coming from corporate sector. They are also infrastructure provider, a tech provider, also legal, and many more. So there are few stages while applying to our BlockRocket startup program and funding program. So the startup founders have to go on our website and apply through our via our F6X application form. Once you finish the application, then we organize an interview with the startup founders. And after the interview process, sometimes we also invite them to our event. So for example, the monthly pitch event, so we can get to know more about them and about the founders. Then the next stage is before taking them into the program, we do the due diligence. That means we run a legal due diligence and final interview round to conclude the investment case. And after the due diligence, we do seed investment. After the finishing seed investment, we take them into the program, and program runs for 12 to 24 months based on the startup's requirements and demand. So a selection of our portfolio startups so far. So right now we have 30 plus startups in our shortlist program. That is the stage 1. And we have already 6 startups in our stage 2 program, and out of 6 we have already invested into 5 of them. So this is we are the BlockRocket team. So if you are early stage startup founders, or if your friends or family working from garage and looking for funding, then please feel free to reach out to us. you can log into the www.blockrocket.in.io, or you can also like reach out to our LinkedIn and Twitter page. Perfect. So now moving further, as usual, we are the host at the BlockRocket. We organize like monthly pitch event. So we have today like 4 startups and 4 jury member. Before we jump into the startup, I would like to tell the like a setup. How does it work? So normally like all the startup founders will get like 5 minutes each for a pitch event, and then led by like 5 minutes Q&A session. That means like after the pitch. So make sure you finish like you finish in 5 minutes. After the pitching event, prominent jury member, like out of 4, they will ask you some questions. So for that, you will have like 5 minutes. And at the end of the event, we always have like a setup for like monthly favorite startup. That means like 50% what will be done by like a jury member, and 50% of what will be like will do by like audience. So we'll come up with the polling option at the end of the event, and after that we'll like declare the monthly pitch event winner. Before moving further for the audience, thank you for joining once again today. So we have already copy paste in the link below. If you have some questions, you can log into you can go to our LinkedIn page. You can also join the WhatsApp group and Telegram group and write your question there, and we'll try to ask to the founders. Perfect. So moving further, I would like to ask Wolfgang. He's a senior partner at Blockchain Founders Group. If you can introduce about yourself a little bit, Wolfgang. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Zignar. Good morning, everyone. It's Wolfgang here. I'm a partner at Blockchain Founders Group. We are a company builder and a venture capital firm based in Liechtenstein, and our focus is on pre-seed and the seed phase of startup companies with tickets up to 250,000 euros. Personally, I've been in the venture capital and M&A space for over 20 years, and very glad to be on the jury today with Lambert, Malte, and Bastian, and excited to hear from our pitch candidates. Thank you.
Thank you, Wolfgang. Now moving further, I would like to ask Malte, if you can introduce about yourself. So Malte is the CEO from DAO Maker.
Thank you, Sebastien. Yes, Malte Christensen here. I'm the CEO of DAO Maker. We are on the map since raising the seed round of L1 Network and discussed the valuation of only $4 million. We're sitting on top of steady work for the projects. It's important for us that certain metrics are right before companies enter the market, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong, especially in crypto. So I'm very happy to be here today and see what we have coming. And yeah, hey to my fellow jury members, and nice to be here.
Thank you, Malte. There was like, if you can also share your like your company link in the chat below, because we were like lagging, like your voice was lagging a little bit. But thank you once again. Then moving further, I would like to ask Lambert, the partner at Shima Capital. Lambert, if you can introduce yourself, please.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me, Zignar, and all the team members of BlockRocket. So Shima Capital is an investment firm focused on blockchain mainly. We invest in pre-seed and seed tickets up to 250,000 euros, and we're focused primarily in financial services.
Thank you, Lambert. Now moving further, I would like to ask Sebastien. He's the founder and CEO of Blackwood Capital Partners. Sebastien.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So yeah, I'm the CEO of Blackwood. We're a venture investor based in Copenhagen. So we find and screen some of the leading startups in Europe and present them to our network of 400 Scandinavian angel investors. We focus on pre-seed and seed, and ticket sizes vary from anywhere between 50,000 euros to 300,000 euros. As to myself, I previously was at BlackRock for a number of years in New York City, where I was part of their event-driven hedge fund. And in terms of the focus of Blackwood, we're sector agnostic, but tend to focus on high-tech, high-growth solutions. So we're very happy to be a part of the jury and excited to hear the pitches today.
Thank you, Bastian. Now moving further, we have Cesar from Certify. Cesar, stage is your all.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cesar Suarez. I'm a co-founder of Certify. I'm currently the Chief Innovation Officer and a bit also the Chief Financial Officer. And I'm very happy to be here with you. It's an awesome team today.
If you can share your screen and you can start presenting. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let me check the time. Okay, Certify. We are a document management platform, and we bring world-class innovation for different institutions around the world. What are the problems that we are tackling in general? I'm gonna focus now on the educational sector, but this applies to different sectors. But in the educational sector, lots of time is lost doing repetitive tasks, like around 1/3 of the time can be easily automated. There is still a high amount of institutions that still are using paper certificates, which leads to more falsification. And when a diploma of a university gets like fake, it ends decreasing the reputation of that institution. Then we also have a problem that is almost for every institution, education institution. There is a lack of economic incentives to use new technologies. They don't assign a budget. They literally they keep the things as they are now. And then regarding the students, everybody is complaining that they don't have where to store their academic documents, mainly because they are made of paper and it's costly and time consuming to request your academic documents. So how we solve all these problems? Well, for the low productivity, we have a platform that connects through API for the issuance of digital certificates with a high level of customization. For the paper certificates, we provide digital certificates with blockchain technology. For the lack of economic incentives, we provide a certified token to promote the use of these new technologies in the institutions, like to create the economic incentives. And for the student complaints, we provide them a wallet to store, share, and request these digital certificates. This is a bit of how the solution looks like. So we have the wallet for the holders with privacy and interoperability options. We have the platform, a SaaS platform for the issuers, and we have free and instant verification for third parties. The certified token, is a reward that issuers get every time they bring on board a new customer. So they will get a certain amount of tokens, and this new customer, they also get tokens. And at the end, the students, every time they share their documents and they get verified, they also get tokens. And at the end, these students can also spend their tokens with the educational institutions. So we're creating these economic incentives to promote innovation in these institutions. What makes us unique? We are the only full document management solution in the world. We tackle ID cards, any type of certificate, contracts. We also automate the flow of signatures. We work with different verticals. We also do vaccine certificates, for example, the coronavirus certificates. And we are mixing blockchain, like the credentials, but we are also using a token. And yeah, we are basically super user-friendly as well. Continue. What is our business model? We sell certificates, the package on demand. So depending on the certificate and the volume, it has a price. And then we have another features on demand, like, for example, a landing that students or people can request their certificates on demand, for example. We are working documents in education institutions are a market at plus $1.5 billion a year. This is a bit of our traction. Like last year, we sold over $75,000, and this year so far we are already plus $70,000. We have issued many certificates already. We are currently raising our seed round for $2 million to keep growing in the education sector with a market size of the market size that we are targeting is plus $150 million. And then we are also doing scalability in other sectors. So we are tackling medtech, with the coronavirus certificates. We are also doing newborn certificates. We are doing a bit of car tech. So we are digitalizing all of the documents related to car ownership, maintenance, insurance. We are doing animal tech as well. We are doing agro-tech. So we are literally tackling different verticals with our solution because it's very useful for different verticals. And this is a bit of a competitive landscape, a bit of our competitors, like full document management solution, multi-wallet certified token, multiple sectors, and beautiful designs and care for the identity of the institution of the issuer is what matters. And this is the team: Dani Suarez, CEO, Felipe Arena, COO, and me, COO. Thank you.
Thank you, Cesar. Jury, if you have any question for Cesar and Certify.
Yes, Cesar, if I may, it's Wolfgang here. Could you say something about your sales process? I mean, how do you sell to these institutions or later government organizations and other sectors?
That's our magic recipe, actually, because it's not easy at all to sell technology to them. We do, so we have a 5-star customer service. So most of our customers, they come because of references. So we do a great job with the university, and then she brings on board another one. So we have a very good reputation in the Latin American market, and we are building our reputation here in Sweden. I live in Sweden. So we are kind of like expanding into Europe, Latin America, Europe, Latin America. I would say the main way is about reputation, like offering a good quality service, easy to use, reliable, is a good reputation in the market. So institutions come to us, like we have tried out different outbound marketing strategies, but the results are no near close to the reference network. Yeah.
And how what are your sales today, and you know, how many clients do you have today?
54, 55 customers. We have 2 top 5 Latin American institutions, universities working with us, like 2 of the best top 5 Latin American institutions. We have, around 50, 55, 57. It's between 53 and 57 customers, like, right now. Yeah. But we are acquiring a customer, like a new customer every, let's say the average is 2 customers every 10 days-ish. That's kind of like, but yeah.
And sorry, just a follow-up question. How much training and education sort of is required to understand the platform for the educational institution?
Yeah, so implementation process, it's from 3 days to 10 days, depending on the level of customization of the solution that they want, depending on what is the level of integration that they want, because we can only use a Excel sheet and then they can start using the platform right away. But sometimes they want to know, I want to have this, I want to have this. So then we develop those features on demand. And that takes between 3 and 10 days. But usually, like the training for them takes 45 minutes, 1 hour. And then, but then we are always with them, like offering like customer service. Like if they need help, we help them. You get my point? Like we never leave the customer alone. And I think that's one of the key factors for us to succeed, I would say.
Is there any more question? We still have like a time for one more question.
Yeah. Hi, this is Lambert here. So I was wondering about what were the adoption drivers for your clients?
The main adoption driver is that they are tired of signing documents by hand. They are tired of dealing with paper documents. I think they are really tired of losing productivity time, like productive time in repetitive tasks. I would say that's the main driver. And then when you have, like how we do this, like we are humanizing the latest technology that there is in the world. So we are not going to them and say, hey, here is blockchain, hey, there is a token, hey, there is that. We just tell them, hey, you will spend 1 hour instead of 2 weeks to issue your diplomas on your institution. So we tackle mainly the productivity. That's their concern mainly. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Cesar. I think I will ask the other startup founder, Gianfranco. Are you ready to present?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Perfect. Then you can start sharing your screen, and you can start here.
Okay.
Perfect. Yes.
Perfect. Good morning. Good evening. My name is Gianfranco Campos. I'm the CEO of Zignar Technologies. And today I'm going to present the precision agriculture solution that we have developed, which is called INI. That means to help. So the problem that INI is focused on is to maximize to help farmers to reach maximum yield when they operate at maximum capacity. The problem that we found is that due to the complex relationship between dozens and dozens of variables, farmers are having a hard time to figure out themselves how to get there. We also found by talking to many farmers that they are facing many data silos, and that overheads the problem. So talking about the total available market, this market is expected to grow by 12.7% in the next 5 years, from 7 billion to 25 billion, in where North America is expected to hold most of the share. And Asia Pacific is where all the action is going to happen, with lots of startups emerging over there.
Gianfranco, sorry to interrupt you. Guys, can you please mute yourself, except Gianfranco, because we're getting some background noise. Thank you. Okay, sorry, Gianfranco, go ahead.
Yeah, so the SAM based on the total 12.8 billion is calculated to 7.6 billion. And then we are going to focus on Canada for the first 2 years to reach 107 million. And then in the next 4 years, we are going to get to these areas in where we already have people there. So that will get us up to 380 million. So these are the crops that we are focused on right now: tomatoes, cucumber, pepper, and lettuce. And then about the sum, these are our assumptions to get to these numbers. So 25% of the overall farming market being a greenhouse market in Canada. Then the 30% of this greenhouse market producing the vegetables that I described before. And finally, we are conservatively aiming to 5% of market capture. So what is the underlying technology and the underlying magic behind all of this? So we have developed 2 devices to start with, 2 IoT devices, Yaku and Alpa. These devices are taking or gathering 10 different parameters, and we have integrated an scale as our output variable. And we are also integrating another startup into this mix that makes a rover. So all of these data, input and output variables, are being sent to our application server, where then contextual data and logic is added. So all of this data then becomes immutable in the IOTA Tangle network. And then finally, artificial intelligence subscribes to the data stream to calculate the optimal growing conditions based on the input and output variables, which is then translated as a feedback for the farmer. So let me jump quickly to the application that we have here. So this is where the farmer essentially plants and manage their own growing conditions, or sorry, their crops. And these are more advanced views for the sensor. This is real-time data that is becoming immutable into IOTA network as we speak. And for example, here, what we have is one of the boards that we design and print out. So this is the rover or the other startup that we are integrating to our platform. And this is the DID part that it's going to help to identify the farmers as well. So furthermore, we are also developing on top of IOTA smart contracts to create non-fungible tokens that are going to encapsulate the optimal growing conditions. So then the farmer that produces these optimal growing conditions through the artificial intelligence is going to be able to sell to another farmer these information, and that will happen through our own issue tokens, which are INI colored coins with IOTA tokens. Another use case that we're exploring as part of this bundle or platform is that with the same colored coins, the farmer would be able to purchase more features such as artificial intelligence, the application features, or rent the rover on a pay-by-use mechanism. Then one of the last scenarios that we are testing right now is the INI colored coins and non-fungible tokens to tokenize the farmer and allow the farmer to receive investment from investors, right? So that's another possibility with the platform. Here is our competition. We identified 10 future fund and value as our main competitors. And these are the main characteristics: IoT devices, if they offer them, if they are using DLT technology, and if the cost of their solution is accessible. Then if they are also working on a decentralized marketplace or type solution. So to wrap up, our value proposition is to maximize yield by identifying the optimal growing conditions, specific for each crop, operation, and automating the greenhouse management. Then here is our team. There is 13 passionate people, we have 5 electrical engineers, 4 system engineers, and 4 people from the business side. We also started to create our advisory board, where we have a PhD, a biomolecular doctor that is already part of the team and is helping out with the strategy. So the vision, then Zignar wants to become a great team of entrepreneurs that empower Industry 4.0. And we, as our mission, want to develop solutions for Industry 4.0 with an important network of partners to guarantee maximum functionality across hardware and software platforms. Right now, we are closing the MVP stage as of May, and we started to implement on 2 customers here in Alberta, one in Calgary and another one in Lethbridge. One is a large academic institution, and the other one is a large greenhouse farmer. And we are also closing the negotiations with another 5 potential customers. So, any question?
Thank you, Gianfranco. Julie, if you have any question for him.
Hi, Gianfranco. Malte here. So there's an issue with my video. I enjoyed your presentation. You picked the most difficult sector with agriculture, also heavily subsidized, which is potentially a use case for your coin as well if you're looking for governmental grants. Otherwise, I find it difficult to include a token system in terms of farmers selling intellectual knowledge or knowledge in terms of harvesting crops to other farmers, because this can probably be heavily gamed. But otherwise, I was thinking that you could potentially include a supply chain solution. We are doing this currently with several companies such as NEM for coffee. The coffee industry is very interested in that. Maybe it makes sense to do that because it will add quality to some of the products and crops that farmers could potentially bring out and try to verify on the market. Otherwise, yeah, thank you for your presentation.
Welcome. Yeah, well, we are also using the same data to create digital twins of the crops. So that use case is already mapped, and the farmer is able to use this digital twin to integrate that data within the supply chain with the next producer.
Okay.
It's Wolfgang here. Again, as to selling, because that's always the hard part. What is the typical reaction you get from farmers when you sell your solution, and what are the key barriers that you have to overcome?
When I talk to them, I've seen that they are wondering how can we integrate the end-to-end solution, because what the problem that they are facing mostly is that they have different vendors for different parts of the solution, and then they end up having multiple dashboards. So the analytics on top of it, it's very hard and cumbersome to handle. and they have to pay extra for this type of integrations. So we are positioning ourselves to integrate common sensors. So we have our own sensors or our own devices, but we are working with other brands such as Siemens and also Rubitech, so we can integrate them, and then farmers have more options as well.
And if I may, one follow-on question. How do you quantify the benefits case from your solution?
So, for example, tomatoes. An average tomato greenhouse is capable of producing 125 tons per hectare per year, whereas a technified and automated farm is capable of reaching 600 tons per hectare per year. So there is a huge difference between greenhouses that are automated and those that are not. Then it's not only the IoT, it's also the technique and the processes involved within this. But by using the technology and identifying these optimal growing conditions with artificial intelligence, then for sure the performance can be increased in more than 10, 20, 30% easily.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, guys. We are, I think, running out of time. If you have some more questions, please reach out to him directly via chat, or I will also share his details later on. So now moving further, Gianfranco, thank you for presentation. You can stop sharing the screen. So I would like to ask Sebastien from Block0 if you can start sharing your screen.
Here we go. So our company name is Block0. We are based out of Belgium. We are 5. We are a blockchain consulting and development company. We've been gaining skills on the technology for the last 4 years. We started in 2018, and then we are mostly active in the field of logistic, transportation, and traceability. This is what we do. Being a consulting company, we've worked essentially for third-party clients, but still we wanted to develop, to use the skill we gained to develop our own solution. And here we go. I'm going to speak to you about it. It's called ShopX. It's a retail traceability and communication solution. So why did we want to do ShopX? Because as many of our peers, when we go to the supermarket today, of course, we're interested in the price and qualities of the product that we purchase, but we also have some concern about the origin of the products that we buy, the ecological footprint of the products, the ethics of the people who make our products. And fourth is to say that we don't find this information on the product themselves. Of course, the retailers, the people who make the products, they speak to us, but it's called advertising, and we have limited trust into what they tell us. At a time where we want more transparency and more certainty about the things they tell us. So that's why we came up with ShopX. ShopX short for shopping experience. And it's a traceability and communication solution that sits between the retailers and the consumers. What does it do? It does 2 things. The first thing, it traces the product origin and journey from the factory up until us. And it does so using narrative storytelling techniques that meets the interest of nowadays customers. And the second thing it does, when you have customers, fans of a specific product, it allows them to gather into discussion groups, and so that they can share about commonly shared values such as sustainable trade, ecology, or fair trade. So here's the first feature of our product. It's the traceability. So traceability is not shared with the final customers by the final retailer, but it's shared by every member of every component of the supply chain. And they all put the information pertaining to what they do in the supply chain into the decentralized system, the blockchain. And that information is shared with the final user. Okay? These people on the supply chain, they speak logistics, of course. They use EP, CIS, GS1 communication protocols and events. So we need to translate this into a language that the consumer can understand. And that's why we enrich the traceability with pictures of the products, videos of the products, testimonies of the people who make the product, and interactive maps to be able to follow your product from the point of origin up until the store where you buy it into. Okay, and the second feature of our product is, as I said, when you have fans of a product, they can gather into discussion groups. So we are a bit into a social network type of activation here. They can become friends with each other. They can share comments about the products, give ratings. And what's really interesting about it is that at the center of those communities, you will find the brands, the people who make and sell the products. Okay, and for the first time, instead of doing hit and miss communication, they are in direct communication with their fan base. Okay, and from them, they get feedback on the product they make. They can do some fine tuning, and they can discuss about what they both have in common, what the shared values, so such as product sustainability, for instance. So we think the product is interesting for consumers and for retailers. For consumers, because it brings transparency. You have this feeling of communities when you do your purchase. Retailers are part of that community. They can communicate with the consumers, and they can diffuse their marketing messages through that. Okay, why are we different? Because we do both traceability and communication. It's rare to find both dimensions into a single product. We are decentralized, where most traceability solutions are usually centralized. We target SMEs, so our customers are small companies that need to communicate. And then we are able to reach to the final customers, the consumers, because we speak their language. Okay, so we are not new to that. That's 4 years that we're growing competencies on a logistic and blockchain. We've won several Euro grant contests. And then here's one last example with something we've done end of last year for a guy importing in Paris, in Rungis, some fruits. He wanted to show the care he put into the bringing the products from Africa to Europe. He put some QR code on the fruits, and with any phone you could come and scan the product, and you would get the information about the supply chain information on your mobile phone. Okay, our product is not finished, still prototype level. In next 6 months we'll finish the traceability developments, and one more 6 months, and then we'll finish the social network developments. Okay, we don't want to do this alone, and we need a market validation. So we are speaking with companies, often here in Belgium. So one is for instance, here, Wallonia Breeder Association. It's all the meat traceability of Belgium that is through that association. And Galère Chocolate, you might have seen them in airport, for instance, or in shopping centers. And then ANEP is another mango import company that got in touch with us recently, wanted to work with us. Okay, so if you're interested in the ShopX traceability or communication features, please contact us. We are looking for end users to make our product better. We can work in partnership because we are still developing the product, of course. We will have 3 lines of revenues of our product. One is the integration, connecting our solution to other people's solution. Software as a service, you will pay a subscription to put your information into the blockchain, and we'll be able to do some content management, so communication for you as well. We hope to go from 0 to 1.5 million revenues with 144 customers within the next 3 years. Okay, breaking news. We've just been informed last year that our product has been selected. So it's been validated by Europe. We've been selected by into a H2020 financing program. We'll get between 75 to 150,000 euros for solutions. So we're very happy about this. What else? We're looking for more investors, of course. We need 300,000 for the next 6 months to bring our product from the prototype level to the MVP level. We already have, out of the 300,000, 150,000 that is pledged by Belgian public investors. So we are now looking for the private counterpart. So half of it, so 150,000. That's our team. We are 5, I said, but we are 3 actively working on the product. IT architects, blockchain developers, and me doing sales. Communication is super important for us. We're often on TV here in Belgium. We're often in the press. So we have a national, if not yet international, but national recognition. Strong network. We work with Alastria. We are very close to the ETSI. We teach in several universities here in Belgium and in France. And that's it for me. Thank you very much. I hope you were interested in the ShopX application. And with ShopX, you will never shop alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Sebastien. Jury, if you have some question, we have room for like 1 or 2 questions. We are running out of time.
I have a quick one. So thanks a lot for the presentation, Sebastien. I really loved it. Could you maybe tell a little bit more about how you get all the different parts of the supply chain to actually share information, and how do you go about that?
Yes, usually you need a minimum integration in the supply chain, and you need a strong guy at the end of the supply chain that's able to tell every member of the supply chain to input their information into the information system. Okay, so you need a strong guy able to sort of force the other guys to do their part, so to say.
Thank you. Now we are running out of time. So thank you, Sebastien. Jury, if you have some question, I can make introduction to Sebastien later on. Otherwise, you can chat in chat below. Thank you, Sebastien. You can stop sharing your screen now. And I would like to Andreas once again. We can try one more time. If you can start sharing your screen. Yes, perfect.
So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm Andreas. I've studied business administration at Frankfurt University. I'm a former consultant with McKinsey & Company. I have been a university lecturer at several universities in Germany and in Switzerland. Once I had the opportunity to establish one of the first hedge fund managers in the DACH region. So I'm in finance since 25 years now. And if you are in these capital markets active since 25 years, you hopefully evolve a kind of sensibility for the market. And this feeling made me anticipate that banks might get under regulatory pressure, and that this regulatory pressure might become this much severe that they might get barred out one of the biggest segments within the capital markets. And this is financing large-scale infrastructure projects. And most of you will know the term Basel III. Banks have always been regulated very much, but Basel III brought their neck. It brought them 5,500 pages of regulation on top. When I anticipated that, I started my research, and the more I was digging, the more signals I received that this might actually happen. In the end of my research, I decided, let's make a bet. More precisely, a lifetime bet. I've sold all my assets. I have put even my entire pension on the hot stove here, on the hot plate, and I established an Aktiengesellschaft in Luxembourg. And you really need significant confidence to say, okay, let's start a company financing large-scale infrastructure, because these projects are really big. For some reason, later on our journey, we figured out that McKinsey has identified a phenomenon, what they named the global infrastructure spending gap. And this global infrastructure spending gap amounts to $5.5 trillion US. Since nobody in the audience is a professor in mathematics, let me make it a bit more simple. This is equivalent to 10,000 large-scale infrastructure projects worldwide of average volume. Now you need to know the average volume, and I can disclose it to you. It's $542 million. So just imagine 10,000 projects, each $500 million, and they are desperate to get funding, and they are failing. This is not our market. this is just the global infrastructure spending gap. Our market is 10, 15, maybe 20 times even bigger. McKinsey stated 5.5 trillion. Recently, we received most current data from Global Infrastructure Hub. This is a G20 initiative, so you really can trust their research. They estimate the global infrastructure spending gap in the amount of $15 trillion US. This would be 30,000 large-scale infrastructure projects. If you think this is an issue for developing countries, I have to disappoint you. The biggest demand for infrastructure investments is actually in the developed world. Just the US market is big enough to make 10 of our competitors rich. Yeah. Since you all are familiar with the DACH region, over here infrastructure is existing, and over here infrastructure has been built by the government, but you just need to leave the DACH region and the situation is changing completely. 50% of all infrastructure projects require private investments, and that's why the whole market is really interesting and big. Yeah, since we are running out of time, I could give you a lot of reasons why both sides are not meeting or matching with each other. Both sides means initiators of large-scale projects on the one side and institutional investors on the other side. One reason for the institutional investors is it's their home buyers. Then they are risk averse. They don't have a radar that it is covering more than just the DACH region. However, I took aeroplanes to Accra in Ghana, from there to Faisalabad in Pakistan. And whenever I came back to Rhein-Main Airport, in many cases, I had a contract in my suitcase, a contract with a project scout. We name these project scouts country ambassadors. And the country ambassador is a local expert. He has his boots on the ground. And since he is speaking local language, whether it's Croatian or Thai or Khmer, doesn't matter, we do not speak this language. Yeah, and in the life cycle of the typical infrastructure project, only in the later phase, the documentation of the project will switch to financial market language, which is English. So our country ambassadors, and this is our secret sauce here, our country ambassadors, they have their boots on the ground, they speak local language, and they get the projects before they get public to the market. Yeah,
Andreas, sorry to interrupt you, but can you please wrap up in 30 seconds?
Oh yeah, our business is matching institutional investors worldwide with infrastructure projects worldwide. We are bundling these projects, and what we have done, all our country ambassadors, they have delivered, and whatever they deliver, we put in a database. And now our little database is full of infrastructure projects. We recently have reached 780 of them. In total, $353 billion US volume. And when we reached 300 projects, I had an idea. Wouldn't this be a nice MVP for a digital marketplace, matching investors, institutional on the one side, and infrastructure project on the other? And then we figured out that a marketplace like this is not existing yet. And since then, we are really thrilled to nail maybe first mover advantage. Maybe we have the chance to become market leader, and market leader in our domain here is world market leader. Yeah. That's what we are trying to achieve, a digital marketplace matching both sides. As you have heard, the projects are huge, None are less than $100 million. And the business concept is quite easy. We get a finder's fee. The finder's fee is, of course, less than the finder's fee in real estate business. Engel & Völkers, if they are matching an investor with a seller of a house, they get 6% finder's fee, in German Maklerquotage. Our finder's fee is much less, but even the smallest finder's fee of 1% will be equivalent to a warm shower of cash, since the projects are much bigger than what Engel & Völkers has in stock. Yeah.
Okay, Andreas, thanks a lot. I have to cut you short because we are running out of time and we still have to do like a poll. So I would like to quickly ask the jury members if you have some question for Andreas. Otherwise, I can also make an introduction with him later on your request. Sorry, Andreas, I have to cut you short. Jury members, if you have any question.
Thank you, Andreas. Malte here. I like this a lot. It's very interesting. Which segment within infrastructure providers do you consider the most lucrative? Which geo-tier, i.e. which area in the world? If we could nail it down a little more, because it is very broad. And secondly, in terms of your marketplace, is it a subscription model or is it free access? And then just simply based on the 6% finder's fee, or again, is the segmented based on which area and which sector you would provide potential investors with?
This was too many questions at once. Can you start with, please?
All right. The most lucrative area
in
terms of infrastructure providers. I mean, you have railroads, there are hospitals, you have flight services. What exactly would you pinpoint as the most lucrative?
Yeah, to be honest, I have no idea.
Okay.
We are agnostic with regards to the stage. We are agnostic with regards to the continent or country. We are agnostic to the category. I only can tell you one interesting story. We have a competitor, and this competitor, their name is Renerex, standing for, it's an abbreviation for Renewable Energy Exchange, Renerex. Okay, and from first sight, what they are doing seems brilliant because they are focusing on renewable energy. Gives sense, sounds sexy for institutional investors. But on the other side, if you go to their website, to their marketplace, you can see maybe 20, maximum 30 projects worldwide. In other words, by narrowing it down, an interesting, unique selling proposition. By narrowing down, they have somehow destroyed their opportunity to get the critical mass of projects. So that's why we decided infrastructure is wide. Let's not narrow it down. And of course, we are still a startup. Startup life is trial and error. Let's find out where the need of the market is the biggest. Second,
just a small interruption for our audience and viewers. You can see the polls on your screen. If you can choose your best startup, I really appreciate it. Okay, maybe one more time, like a question. Julie, if you have some question.
The third question, please, again.
I have a, just the follow-up question was, wouldn't it make sense to make this a success fee-based concept? So dependent on how well the cooperation works out between the investor and the project that you provide in your marketplace, that would essentially determine the final payout for your organization. Wouldn't that make the most sense?
Yes, absolutely. From first sight, most people would say, let's make a subscription-based model. I don't agree. It would be a bit like throwing pearls to pigs. If a project is 500 million, and if we would get 1% finder's fee, why should we sell access to this huge marketplace for pennies? It doesn't give sense. On the long run, we will get a recurring revenue, but not from the clients. We will get a recurring revenue from auxiliary service providers. Let's say legal advisors, law firms would love to get into contact with the initiators. Then with technical due diligence providers, with regulatory due diligence providers, commercial due diligence providers. The big four will love to be involved. That's quite obvious.
Thank you, Andreas. I mean, we are almost done with the time. Thanks a lot. Malte, if you would like to talk further with Andreas, I'm happy to make introduction via email. So thank you, guys. I think the poll is almost done. We will soon have the result, who is the winner of the monthly pitch event. And before we announce the result, guys, there is a link for our next upcoming panel event on sustainability in blockchain and like energy consumption by the Bitcoin mining. So feel free to register via Eventbrite link in chat box below. Then it's time for like announcing the winner, and I would say the winner is any guys? Certify. Cesar, congratulations.
Thank you, amazing, makes me very happy. Thank you for the vote.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining us. And as usual, we'll come up with like a most exciting startup again in June. And till then, take care, have a good day, and see you next time. Thanks a lot. Thank you, jury member. Thank you, founders.